Today we're just going to briefly unveil what the consensus of 70 plus organizations have come together and said, hey, this is what our legislative agenda is going to look like as we go into the 2020 session. But it all stems from these 5 overarching themes that everyone came together and said, these are things that we have to address in one way or another. So the first theme was around a just and equitable 100% RPS that leaves no workers behind. And that means a variety of things, including not only the RPS, but we have to be able to put a moratorium on new fossil fuel infrastructure. I am sorry, when you tell me about these new renewable projects, I am not going to give you a high five if at the same time you are going to triple the amount of our footprint of harmful gases that Virginia is responsible for with these 2 pipelines.
Yeah.
So, that's right. We have to, what I love about the Green New Deal is it's a vision for what is possible, but we are not going to be bought off so easily. So we've got to put a moratorium and 100% renewables, and we also have to support policies that protect our EJ communities from some of these harmful cap and trade and other trade policies that don't think about vulnerable communities. And this is important, especially for a lot of folks up here. You know, we tend to have a more affluent demographic here in Northern Virginia. We love being in Northern Virginia, but not everybody is in Northern Virginia. Mm-hmm. And it's important, right? Some of these proposals, which sound good, the cap and trade proposals, are a license to pollute in vulnerable communities. Why do you think the compressor station is going right on top of a black community, a poor black community in Union Hill? That's because they knew that the resistance would be limited.
They were wrong.
They were wrong. Clean air, water, and land for all Virginians, and that's through a Healthy Soils initiative. We got to take a good, long, hard look at some of the harmful pesticides, some of the plastics. There's so many ways that our bodies are being poisoned. Every family's being touched by this. Every time you turn around, either whether it be cancer or other disease that are hitting folks, we've got to make sure that we're protecting our air, land, and water. Large investments in our workforce. We have to be able to protect our workforce. And who is the best voice for workers? Lee Carter, are you still in the room?
Yeah.
Who's the best voice for workers?
Unions.
Unions. Workers are the best voice for workers, right? And we know that there have been a variety of things, including right to work, which is farthest from the truth. We have to, as a Green New Deal coalition, stand up for our union brothers and sisters, stand up for working families, and we've got to repeal right to work once and for all. Unionize, get these folks back to work, and invest in things like these community solar initiatives, making sure that there are PLAs in place, that fair wages and benefits are passed along. Investments in local scale agriculture, there's a whole slew. We know that our food travels around 1,700 to 2,000 miles to get to us. But if we can invest in healthy local food, then we're not only cutting our carbon footprint, but we believe that we're going to actually have healthier food for our families. Investing in that infrastructure, there are real policies around that, and we want to make sure that we're advancing that in the 2020 session. And prioritize equitable, affordable, and clean transportation systems, which means 2 things. Promote zero-emission vehicles and transit-oriented development. There's no reason why Virginia is this far behind on some of these policies. But, I did the liberal thing for you just now. I gave you some of the wonk. Let me tell you why these initiatives have failed in the past. It's because the enviros are like, hey, this is the most important thing. The world is burning, so nothing else matters. Well, there are other things that matter to other people. And then the social justice folks are like, look at what is happening to these communities of color and vulnerable communities. and not paying attention to some of the other voices. And then our union brothers and sisters, we have seen, look what's been happening with these poor workers at GM and other places that are just struggling to make it along. Now, the Green New Deal is not an environmental plan. I'm going to say it. Green New Deal is not an environmental plan, and I want you to repeat it. The Green New Deal is not an environmental plan.
Green New Deal is not an environmental plan.
What is the Green New Deal, Sam? The Green New Deal is an intersectionality. It is where economic, social, and environmental justice intersect. That is what the Green New Deal is. And why is that important? Because there aren't enough social justice advocates to get things done that they want. There aren't enough environmental advocates, and there aren't enough economic justice folks for us to be lifting up working in middle class America. The numbers just aren't there. But what is clear as day is that there's an intersectionality, that we can stop these pipelines that are enriching just a few folks while uplifting middle-class America through project labor agreements while we are putting up new solar panels, and at the same time transitioning to renewables, which are going to help to protect our planet. This is intersectionality, folks. This is the future of the left. This is the future of what politics looks like for us. We've got to climb out of our silos, and we've got to figure out how we're going to be helping each other. Are you all ready to do it?
Yeah!
I know Mike knows what I'm talking about when we're saying, when we're in these environmental circles, hey man, how is this going to impact communities of color? How are we going to bring along some of these working families as well and make sure that we are not just enriching a few folks? Because a lot of the big green, a lot of the renewable projects that have happened to date, the larger ones, have really just enriched a few. It really hasn't been a host of projects that have helped to uplift large swaths of workers with fair wages and benefits. And this is important. So this intersectionality, these coalition members, we've got Food and Water Watch. How many people are associated with Sierra Club? Yeah! NAACP? Sunrise Movement? CCAN Action Fund? We've got so many others, Interfaith, Power and Light, Virginia Organizing. If your name is up here or not, shout out the name of your organization.
Faithful Alliance.
That's what I love. Nobody understood what y'all just said. You know what? You know what's important about that? That's a coalition, right? We have diverse voices. We are coming together. And that's important. We didn't all just say, we're the Democratic Party, because we know that that's not a coalition, right? Mm-hmm. We know that maybe electing Democrats will help advance the priorities of the coalition, but we've got a duty to the NAACP, to CCAN, to our faith brothers and sisters. That's what brings us together in this policy overview, because this is what we, as a coalition, have to advance this year. We have to be focused on this legislative agenda. And I tell you, coalition is only going to be as good as its members. They have started the attacks on Green New Deal. How many of you have seen the attacks?
Yes.
All right.
Cheeseburgers.
Now, first of all, Lee Carter serves up cheeseburgers at some of his events. So if he needs a good cheeseburger, let me know. I've seen several of you already eating some. So your cheeseburgers are not under threat, people. Your cars are going to be fine. We're just going to make them better. We're not going to ground all the airplanes next year. It's just a bunch of scare tactics. And you know why? Why do they say those things? They say them when they are scared. When they are scared. Are they scared of a Green New Deal?
Oh, yes.
Are they scared of this coalition?
Oh, yes.
You can tell. Look at this. It is awesome to have these folks together. This is a Green New Deal Virginia. And in a Green New Deal Virginia, we believe not only in good jobs, but we believe this is a good deal. And really what we're chasing is a good life.